the thing. If you are craving that expansion, you're craving that breakthrough, you are truly craving that next income, there's no way around it. You need to get in the room because everybody can give you all the strategy in the world. The strategy isn't going to do shit if you don't have the capacity to hold more. Where your capacity to hold more happens is at those events. When you are
Yes.
realizing, I always credit this, but I said, damn, in 2020, people in that room were worried about losing $3 million businesses. I was over here worried about losing $1,000 business. Oh, mine's not a big deal. That it gave me a capacity to be like, damn, if I'm only losing $1,000, that's nothing. Let me go harder. Let me show up.
A lot of our audience, they're women with businesses. And the truth is, you're looking for clients, right? You're looking for clients,
Yeah,
you're looking for collaborators. We're going to tell you, we're doing a collaboration, but we're going to
yeah.
tell you later. There is something that happens when you're in a room with people at the same level. Can you talk
It's
about that a little
crazy.
bit? Because you and I, we talk about this all the time. And I think this is not talked about enough. Hi, everybody. Welcome to my channel. My name is Ati Greenspan. I'm a personal branding coach and business strategy, and I help you, coaches and service providers, figure it out what to post, what to do on and off social media so you can consistently get clients and grow your business. Well, hello, businesses. I am so freaking excited to have my friend Cristal Jacobo with us because this episode is one of a kind. So before I get going and I start raving about her and all the things that we're doing together, Cristal, can you please introduce yourself? And we're going to be talking about how you and I have been able to double our business in under 2 years by attending live events. So tell the people who you are, all the amazing things about you, and then we'll get going.
Hello, everyone. I am Cristal Jacobo. I am a mama. I am a fur mama too. And I am the founder of a company called She Is Made for More. So the whole concept of She Is Made for More was the fact that all of us have this feeling of maybe there's more out there, but we can feel alone when we're chasing our more. And when I had that feeling becoming, I used to be a school teacher and I taught for 6 years. And I mean, first generation everything actually from here. I was a school teacher and I had the career, the days off, the retirement plan, the insurance, life felt good. But I still had that little more that was like, okay, there's more out there for me. And not only did I have the feeling, but it was also that thought that came in of like, Cristal, how dare you want more when you already have way more than your parents had, way more than your family members have. You have the insurance, the health benefits, you have everything. What else more do you want? So calm down and stay here. And I still stayed there probably another year and a half until I was like, no, I'm going to leave. Worst case scenario, I'll come back to teaching. Fast forward, here we are. We built a company that has events, sold out retreats. It has a membership. It has a mastermind. And it has literally helped women build companies that have also done their brands, their missions, have also from their events completely booked the entire room. And it all started with me following my more. So I like to think back
Yes.
that She Is Made for More is the domino effect. It's the community that's like, oh, you want more, I want more, I see you, I'm ready for you. Let's go be crazy together and let's go make the impossible possible because it's possible. That's
Well,
why
yeah,
our
let's actually dig into this. So this is what I love, absolutely love about what you just share. And our missions are so aligned. And if you're listening to this, we actually have something coming up for you, but we're not going to
yeah,
tell you. So we are going to tell you, but not until next Monday, July the
yeah,
14th. But in the meantime, the reason why we are doing this two-part episode is we want to show you how one decision actually changed everything for us.
hmm
So, would you like to start by sharing what was the first event that you actually went to that you were like, okay, coming to events, there is something here. What was that one thing? Because again, right, you started your business, you were a teacher, you did not have a lot of business owner friends.
yeah,
You didn't have a network. You didn't have an Instagram. And I think that this is where people get so fucking caught up. They're like, oh, yeah, it's easy for her because, but you didn't start there. So take me to the first event that you were like, oh, shit, this is where the real money is.
Here's the thing that if you have the feeling for more, it's already yours and you are meant to happen and you have the skills, you have the resource to make it happen. First and foremost, not, I don't know, I don't have enough. That's not an excuse. What I've realized now is like, if you have that more, you're going to have it the rest of your life. It's not really going to go away. So going back to events, my husband actually, who I was dating at that time, was all about events. He's a natural born entrepreneur. I'm not. I've always said that I made myself an entrepreneur. He's a born entrepreneur because I went the college route. I did everything and I was okay. I wasn't miserable, but I also wasn't like super, super missing anything. But I went to a real estate event with him. He wanted to go to real estate. He wanted to check out this real estate event and there was speakers there. So I went. I was like, whatever, I'll just go with you. It's not my thing, but I'll go. I get in that room and they're talking about making money. They're talking about all these things where I'm like, you are making what I make in a year of teaching. People are making it here in 2 months. What the heck is this? I need to know more. So I am plugged in. I am glued in. In that room, they do a breathwork session. I am like
And this was years ago.
anti-breathwork.
This was when breathwork wasn't even
Yeah,
that popular.
yeah, it was
How many years ago was this?
like 2018.
Oh my God. Okay. I'm going to tell you my story for events too.
So I'm there. They're doing this breathwork session. I have no feelings. I don't want to feel. I am a tough girl. I'm my dad's first daughter. So I am tough. And I'm sitting there and then they do this breathwork and I'm refusing to go into breath. I'm like, I don't want to do this. I turn around and there's this buff ass man. That's the only way I can describe him. Huge guy in a suit, muscles, everything next to me. And he has tears coming down his eyes. And I'm like, whoa, what is happening? And I had an intuition or something in me was like, Crystal, sit your ass down and do the damn breath work. I sat down. In that moment, I felt so connected to every single human in that room. After the breathwork session, we all hugged. People were crying together. I was like, what is happening? There was a liberation that happened in the room that I was like, whoa, I'm closer to these people in the last 5 minutes than I am to people in my life, teachers, friends. What is happening? I literally chased the guy down. I was like, okay, what was that? What did you do? He goes, yeah, this is breath work. He's like, if you're ever interested, here's my card. You can get certified, blah, blah, blah. Fast forward, I got certified, all the things. But with that event, something so profound happened that I think I got the permission of, Crystal, you're not fully happy and it's okay. Go have even more. Worst case scenario happens, you could always go back to teaching. It was everyone in the room felt the exact same feeling that I had. They all wanted more. It didn't matter where we came, income levels, what language you spoke. No one gave a shit. Everybody was like, we all want more unapologetically. That's the rare reason that I went back and I was like, not only am I going to get certified, not only am I going to start a company, but I'm going to call the company She Is Made for More because she is. Every single woman, you're made for more, whether it's more this, more that. You decide you're more, but you are made for more. And chances are you're playing small. How do we put you in
Oh my God. Okay.
just ignite the fire in you?
This is so crazy because number one, you told the story of an event that had nothing to do with the industry you were in.
Nothing.
It wasn't even something that was in your radar. But what it did for you, it expanded your vision of what was possible for you. And it gave you permission to truly go after your dreams.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Okay, I don't know if you know this story, but the first event I ever went to, I went to a network marketing event. I was on Isagenics. I don't know if you even knew that, but I was in network marketing for like a short period of time. And I remember my friend was, okay, like we're going to this event. And I was like, what? And the ticket was like, I don't know, maybe like $400. And then we had to go out of town. And this was in Arizona. No, it wasn't in Arizona. It was Nashville. We had to fly there. We had to get a hotel. And at the time, I wasn't making any money with network marketing. I was just in it. And I just had pivoted my photography business into personal branding. This was early 2018. That's why I was like, oh my God, we are kind of like the same time frame. For me, when I decided to go, it was more like, Mom, I'm just going for like a girl's trip. Like I didn't have zero fucking expectations about the event. And then I will never forget, I walk into that event and it was this huge arena for like 10,000 people. Do you remember a story? I'm a world champion flair bartender, right? I think I am the fucking queen of my tiny little village that I made it. I'm an immigrant. Now I own real estate. And, you know, I'm thinking that I'm the fucking shit.
Mhm.
And then I walk into that room where people literally were making like what I was making in a year, they were making in a month, right? And I will never forget there was this bartender, and I'm gonna say her name if you guys want to go follow her. I believe she's still in network marketing. Her name is Tara Romano. And she's speaking on stage and she's talking about how she went from not believing that she would ever be outside of bartending to running a multiple six-figure business and speaking on stage. And she was so confident and so amazing. I was like, oh my God. Oh my God. That is what I want. And for me, it was a speaking on stage.
Mhm.
And it was like a second later, I literally went like, what if somebody heard me? Like my thoughts. And
Yeah.
I immediately became so small because I was like, what, how you dare think that you can be on stage or you could talk, you have an
Yeah.
accent, you're from Argentina, all this bullshit. Fast forward, while network marketing wasn't the thing, the investment on going to that event expand my world
Yeah.
to a completely, which is the same exact
Yeah.
experience that you're describing. There were many things that happened at that event, and I actually got to six figures in that company, like
Mhm.
with network marketing. And I decided that was not for me, and that's when I pivoted into full going into coaching, all the things.
Uh-huh.
But I think that people don't talk enough about the commitment that happens when
Yes.
you actually invest on yourself, on going on something that you don't really know what you're gonna get there,
Yeah.
but being in the room with other people. So can we talk about that? Because you and I talked about this outside of the part,
Yeah.
like the recording, but there is something that turns on that you change. And it's not the event itself. It happens even
Yeah.
before.
I think so many of us are seeing events and you're saying, oh, I can't afford them. The reason you can't afford them is the very exact reason you can't afford not to afford it. And
No.
I've realized this over time now. There's women, oh, I can't afford it. Yeah. And you also can't afford not to because 6 months are going to pass, 6 years are going to pass, and you're still going to be there wishing you would have, or you need to do it now. And the thing that I realized is me going to that event, we bought tickets, and I think the tickets were like $800. We also stayed at the hotel, was one of like the bougie hotels back then. I was on a teacher's salary. I am trying to like, what coupon, what points can I use, what everything. We still got the room, and I think the room was like 490 a night. So I went out of my way, but I knew the hotel venue was right next to Disneyland. So I was like, it's okay because I'm also going to like double dip. I'm going to go to Disneyland. I didn't go to Disneyland. I stayed at the event the whole 3 days because of what happened in the event. That you're absolutely right. I completely shifted as a person. I came back within 6 months, quit my teaching position. I got
That is
teacher of the year.
crazy.
I got teacher of the year award. When I walked into my principal's office, I was like, hey, I'm going to quit. My principal's like, where are you going? I was like, I'm going to stop teaching. He's like, are you crazy? What are you going to do? And I was like, I don't know. I really,
It's
the
funny that
truth
you say
is, I
that.
don't know.
I went to that event in Nashville and I quit my job about 6 months later
Yeah.
in December 2018.
I was like, I'm done. You know what? I was like, time is going to pass and we could always get a job. We could always go back to that thing that you're
Yeah.
currently hold on.
Let me bring it back to our industry, to the coaching industry, the service provider industry, because I have a few different examples that I know that you and I met at an event. So there were so many layers on what happened to my business through events. We dabble on networks, and people ask me all the time, like, everybody knows you, but not just in Las Vegas. Like, literally, you and I have been speaking all over the country this
Yeah.
year, last year, and we haven't been in business that long. So can you share how that happened and how that started multiplying for you that led to this business and to the doubling of your business?
What happened when I went to that event was full permission that everybody in that room saw the things that saw, also wanted bigger than what I wanted. No one was going to downplay themselves. Everybody was like, hey, I'm making $1 million, but I'm trying to figure out how to make 5 million. Girl, I'm making 42,000 with teaching. I'm just trying to get to 6 figures. But it didn't matter. Everybody, the ambition was matched. And I'm going to be very
Yes.
real with you. For many of us that are not going to the events, you're giving your ambition to your old high school friend. There's nothing wrong with Susie. We love her, but Susie doesn't want a business. Susie wants to be a stay-at-home mom. That's what she wants. So when you tell her she's not going to get it and we put expectations on people, get my dream, root for my dream,
Yeah.
that you're putting
I remember
never going to get it.
because I had my photography business, but for me, and when I say ambition, I'm going to say the vision. Vision. There was a vision that I didn't see because I didn't know that was possible for me. Right. So after that, I actually ended up going in 2019. And I always say the network marketing event changed my life in so many ways. But there was an event that I went in 2019. I actually went for free. I went and I volunteered my photography because in my mind, I couldn't afford the ticket. And I'm going to tell you right now, that wasn't true. But that was a belief that I had because I was like, oh, my business is not making any money yet.
Yeah.
Right. Well, that didn't make any sense. I had money from my previous business, all this fucked up mindset shit that I had, right? But I went to that event and I remember this was a Kayla Craft event and it was an entrepreneurship event. And that is when I saw all the women, coaching, photographers, service providers, making millions.
Yeah.
And my belief in the fact that I could do it, that this industry actually could get me there. The belief that there were women out there making millions, teaching people, doing photography, opening women-led businesses, and they were scared, they were insecure. Everything that we go through as women and as business owners, women there were going through it, and they still were doing the shit.
Yeah.
So, what was your first women coaching, kind of like what we do event that you went to?
I put it on myself. So I was going to these events of male and female, male and female. I didn't even know female entrepreneurs was a thing. I was just male women, male women. But I was telling my husband, I was like, you know what? I am really craving friends at this spot. I'm craving friends in the season that get it. So you know what? I'm going to put on my first event. I put my very first event. I selfishly put it for my own reason because I wanted other people to share this vision with. So I put it, we had 25 women show up during lunchtime at somebody started calling their friends. They were like, hey, this event's really good. You should come. After lunchtime, we had another 20 women show up. So we actually ran out of chairs. So I was like, oh, maybe I'm going to get like 15 women. This small little thing happened.
That's
Five
amazing.
women at the end of the day. We gathered chairs from everywhere, but we had 75 women. That was the beginning.
And this was in your hometown.
Yeah, it was in my hometown. I was like, no one knows about this. But something big happens when you dare to take the risk. Because I took the risk. I put on the event. It got news coverage out of nowhere. Somebody showed up. It passed in the news. Next year, we sold out that event. It was the way that everybody was like so amazed at what I was doing. And I was like, oh, well, it's just an event because I see that there's so many for entrepreneurs.
You said that at a big scale and you brought it to Fresno. Right? So one of the things that I always tell my people, and I attribute a lot of my success, right out of the pandemic, because remember, I left network marketing, 100% photography, then 2020 happened. Yeah. And 2020, I couldn't shoot. So one of the things that really, really happened was like I was thrown into coaching without even knowing what the fuck I was doing. People were like, I don't know what to do with my photos. I will, okay, let's jump on a brainstorming call to create content ideas. And that's how personal branding really was born, right? Like, how do you build your personal brand during the pandemic that we were all at home? So I made friends with somebody local in Clubhouse. We started doing Zooms, like check-ins. We hit it off and we did the same. As soon as the pandemic opened, we did a networking event. And this event had so much like repercussion, if you want to call it, because people were desperate for connection. And from there, people were like, okay, how do I work with you? And I was like, okay, there is something here.
Yeah.
You put your first event together and then you started going to other people's event. Like,
Yeah.
because for me, the first event ever that I invested in after the network marketing that was my event, I want to say, I can't even remember. I don't even know.
Here's the thing, like, if you are craving that expansion, you're craving that breakthrough, you are truly craving that next income, there's no way around it. You need to get in the room because this all everybody can give you all the strategy in the world. The strategy isn't going to do shit if you don't have the capacity to hold more. Where your capacity to hold more happens is at those events. When you are
Yes.
realizing, I always credit this, but I said, damn, in 2020, people in that room were worried about losing $3 million businesses. I was over here worried about losing $1,000 business, bigger problems to where it was like, oh, mine's not a big deal. That it gave me a capacity to be like, damn, if I'm only losing $1,000, that's nothing. Let me go harder. Let me show up.
It gave you perspective, right? And also, I think one of the things that, and I want you articulate these in such a beautiful way, which is a lot of our audience, they're women with businesses. And the truth is, you're looking for clients, right? You're looking for clients,
Yeah.
you're looking for collaborators. Like, again, we're going to tell you, we're doing a collaboration, but we're going to
Yeah.
tell you later. And this is a great collaboration. And we have been
Mhm.
friends for quite a while now. But there is something that happens when you're in a room with people at the same level. Can you talk
It's
about that a little
crazy.
bit? Because you and I, we talk about this all the time. And I think that this is not talked about enough.
Yeah. You get in the room, you are going to expand. I can't express it enough. You come into that room, who you become as a human, you just invested in yourself. That's literally database that gets added to your brain of like, oh, I went all in. Okay, you bought a room. Okay, great. Now you invested. Okay, now you met somebody else. When you have skin in the game, your brain's looking of how do I make the most out of it because I've already spent my money. You are
Now, how will I make the most money out of being here?
yeah, who do I connect with? Who do I collaborate with? You're actually going in there with wanting something versus just hiding back in the room because you're afraid. No, you put skin in the game. That does something to you as in your personal being. Second thing, it expands you. It expands you to be like, damn, Ati's making this and I'm over here stressing about a $20 offer. Girl, let me level up. It puts things into perspective and it allows you to go bigger once you leave those doors.
I'm going to add to that because I think that is an intrinsic change that happens the moment you pay for that ticket, which is
Yeah.
you are the woman that invests on yourself. But also because people tell me, oh, I go to events in my area all the time and I never get any clients from networking. I'm like, girl, events are not just networking. Events that are like 2 days, 3 days, stuff like that. You are actually aligning your life with other people
Yes.
that just spend also $1,000, 500 on the ticket, 300 on the plane, two, three, four, $500 on the room
Mhm.
to actually be there. So these women that are in the room with you, not only they are the best clients,
Yeah.
right? Because they're women that it's proven they're already investing in themselves. They're looking to invest, but also they are serious about building their business. So now you and I met last year at an event, and a year later, when we realized, well, by the way, you guys don't know this, but we have a support group, her, me, and two other friends, where we talk almost every week, right? So now we're sharing our deepest fears, our deepest desires, our most crazy, like, I am going for this, right? And because we know that the other person on the other side actually
Gets it.
understands.
Yep.
And that's how you make your money back.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because talk about multiplying audiences.
Mhm.
How would you explain to our people that are listening to this right now how you multiply your audience by going to events?
First, you need to remember there's power in cross collaboration. What do I mean by that? If I am wearing a bracelet from a small business, me wearing that bracelet and tagging that small business is going to tag, guess what? You just got exposed to double audience. If I'm going to an event, I'm taking a picture with Ati, I'm going to tag Ati. Ati's going to reshare it. I just got exposed to her audience. People are nosy. When you're tagging people, it's
Well, let's explain this podcast, right? Let's talk about this podcast.
Yeah. So even for this podcast episode, we're doing a part 2. So right now we're talking about events, we're talking about everything. And then part 2, we're going to talk about a lot more of the technical stuff that I think so many women are craving of how do you actually get more out of the events. when it comes to your numbers and your revenue and all that good stuff. But even this podcast, we are double dipping our audiences. That's what it is. My audience knows me. They love me. What I'm listening, your audience, Happy, loves you. They connect with you.
Now, my girls are exposed to you, and your girls are going to be exposed to me when I go on your podcast tomorrow. Well, kind of tomorrow, but like not the day that we are recording, but tomorrow.
Yeah.
But I think this is where people are. I think that people invest on courses,
Mm-hmm.
people invest on coaches, which absolutely I have done both. You and I are coaches. But one of the things, you guys, you building the right network with the right
Mm-hmm.
people. And one of the things Cristal and I were talking out of camera was about when you're going to somebody's event, you're bypassing the line
Yeah.
because you're aligning with the host value. So for the people that love Cristal and the people that love me, right, going to my event or going to Cristal's event, 99% of the people that are going to be at She's for More Live or at Be Run Live, guess what? They are aligning with our values. They're aligned with how we are building our businesses. So if you love us, more likely,
Yeah, you're gonna love
what is going to happen? You're going to love her audience. And I think this is where you said it earlier. It's like a cheat code.
Yeah, it's absolutely a cheat code because I can think of all the women events that I've attended. I go because I love the host. I love her. I love her values. I love what she stands for. The woman that just bought a ticket is also going because she loves her values, what she stands for. And guess what? I may not be going to become best friends with the host because the host might be doing something else or she might be working on another project, right? But guess who's going to be at my exact level? Guess who's going to be super invested? Guess who's going to be have skin in the game like me? The other woman who just bought a ticket, who I might be just sitting next to, that I can be like, "Oh, what is your goal? This is my goal. Let's lock arms. Let's become accountability partners. Let's figure it out and for the next 2 years grow together." Guess what? While her audience is growing, your audience is growing. There's cross collaboration there. There's connections. And you can literally do this with multiple people in the room. Like you said, we have literally a support group that we all met at an event because we're all crazy enough to say, okay, Ati, what are you doing? Double it.
Let's actually give them an example because Gabi, our girl, so if you don't know who Gabi is, I have a podcast episode with her that you can look it up. Gabi Barrero, she is the founder of the Next Generation Network. And so I believe that I made an introduction for you and her months ago, months ago. You guys became friends. She came to speak at your event in February that I spoke on. Yeah, and now the three of us, plus one more friend, we are that support group. And then Gabi is coming this week to your retreat to speak to your girls.
Yes.
This is the thing, you guys. I'm going to give you a hint. We are creating something around our events, but we're not going to tell you until Monday, July the 14th, on an Instagram live that is going to happen at 10 a.m. So I'm not going to tell you. But you're probably gonna figure out by now that it's all about events, okay? It's all about coming to Is Made for More Live and Be Run Live.
Yeah.
Why? Because we truly believe that our people are aligned.
Yeah.
And that you deserve to make those kind of connections and you deserve to be on other people's stages, on other people's events. You deserve to be on our audience's podcast.
Yeah. I think at the end of the day, if you already adore Ati, because obviously you're listening to this podcast, like me and Ati are so connected in our aligned values that I know my people already adore me. They're going to adore Ati. But more than anything is, I've always said this in my community, but I'm like, if I already cried, if I already figured it out, you don't have to cry and figure it out yourself, girl. Like one of us can cry for the rest of us. And
yes,
and that's what we're doing with what we have coming up, Ati. I think what me and you, what we are doing that we're going to announce on Monday is we're giving everybody a cheat code to get there faster. Okay, it took us 5 years. It can take you 2. Why? Because we're giving you the quality leads. We're giving you the quality people. We're giving you the quality rooms. We're giving you the things that have completely transformed our lives versus we had to go out there and go to these random real estate events and go to these things and go to that. And you are spending years of our mistakes with what we are about to announce.
And I'm going to say, years of fucking crying because
Yeah.
we didn't know what the fuck we were doing.
Googling something for 18 hours because I was too damn stubborn to ask for help. And I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
I just had to ask for help, but I didn't have anybody to ask for
Yes.
help.
Well, or you didn't have anybody, or I'm going to say this with all the love for our fellow women. We as women, we are not used to ask for help. We're
Yep.
also scared of what somebody else is going to think because
Yep.
they're going to think we're not good enough because that's actually internal, right?
Mhm.
And it's like in these rooms, we're going to help you get the permission from yourself that you need to truly be okay. Who are my people that I know I can ask for help because she's already been there?
Yeah.
We talk about something that I want to close with.
Mhm.
We talk about the investment. We talk
Mhm.
about the time, right, that it takes to build something. And we talk about the energy. And we
Mhm.
came up with something. Do you remember?
Yeah. Time,
Remember our
energy.
formula?
Yeah.
Do you remember our formula? We
Energy.
were like, shit, this
Mhm.
is it.
Yep. Yep. Yeah. It's the energy,
So,
money, and time. It's going to equal quality.
yes, money plus the time plus the
Mhm.
energy equals the quality of your network and the
Mhm.
quality of your leads. So if right now you are networking like at free events, you're networking in like 3-hour events, which there is nothing wrong with those. There is value, but events that are 2 or 3 day long, that is where it's at. Because what you are, the transformation that you're going to get from going to those events is unmatched. I always tell my clients, if you've been doing these for more than 6 months, you're not a beginner anymore.
Where there's a will, there's a way. Sorry to break it to you because you can room with person, you can connect with people, you can save money, $10 every week for the next thing, and you can make it happen. People can carve.
Oh my God. I mean, that was kind of mind blowing to me. I'm going to say this with all the love for the Vegas people. We did the numbers. 90% of our people came from out of town. They actually invested in, we had 3 people coming from France last year.
Yeah.
And people like investing in their hotels, in their plane tickets, and then the local people, something that we saw. And this is where the commitment and the money and all the things come in. I saw local women that they would come into the room and they would leave early. And then when I asked them, they're like, oh, my kid had soccer. So they were not invested the same way that somebody that actually
Out of town.
invested a couple of $1,000s to be at the event, right? Because the truth is, like, being at the event maybe wasn't a couple of $1,000s, but some of the people decided to make a petition or whatever it was. But you need to be invested first. You need to want to have that return on
Mhm.
investment first. And if you're building a coaching business and you want to go global and you want to build online, you want to be meeting people from all over the country, from
Yeah.
all over the world.
Yeah. And it comes down to just giving yourself permission. Okay, you're not a beginner. If you've been doing this for 6 months, you're not a beginner. Give yourself permission to go to next level. That next level is going to be found in rooms where you feel uncomfortable, in rooms where you feel like, I've always said it, like if I'm the smartest person in the room, I don't want that room.
And I will say, to kind of like bring it back, is do your due diligence, right? Because I think one of the things that I always do when I go to events, not only like I want to know who that host is, I want to know like her network. I kind of a stalk, like, okay, that way, am I going to this event to look for speakers? I'm for my event, am I looking for clients? Am I looking for collaborations? And there is events for all of that. And that is what you are investing in.
100%. There's no reason if you are in a season where you want clients or you want speaking opportunities, I'm going to ask you, when's the last time you've attended an event? You touched on this a little bit earlier, but you were like, us speaking at events. I attended my first event way back in 2018. 6 months later, I was speaking in Vegas at an event. I had no speaking experience. I didn't even know what I was going to speak on, but the relationship that I made with that host, she was like, you left teaching? That's amazing. Can you be on the stage? Can you share your story? I'm like, what am I sharing? She was like, just whatever. What do you feel like was when you left teaching? I was like, okay. I was on that stage. Then 6 months later, I was on another stage as a keynote. That keynote, they allowed me to sell from stage and I sell a coaching package. I was like, it's 6 months to work with me. I can't remember what price it was. Anyways, I walked out with like $4,000 from that
Yeah.
event.
I want to wrap this up, so we give them everything on part 2. But the reason why this episode is it's called "How We Double Our Business Through Events" or something like that. How events have doubled our businesses in under 2 years, right? One of the things, you guys, that I'm going to tell you, the trust that you build when you are in person with somebody and you actually are in a room where you can actually explain to somebody in over fucking 30 seconds that is Instagram, right? I don't know, 3 minutes or 20-minute networking that you have at a local event, and you are transforming together. There is a trust that cuts investment time into. So not only the clients that can be in the room, but also actually Cristal and I, we met at Powerhouse last year. I'm going to reframe that. We did not need, we knew we were in the same room. And I think I reached out to you and I was like, hey, we were both at Powerhouse. I see you have events. I have events. We're both Latinas. Hey, should we jump on a connect call and see what's up?
Yeah.
And
But
here
again,
we are.
it's a shortcut to getting quality leads, because if you knew, oh, this girl's from California, she traveled to Arizona. Oh, this girl's from Las Vegas, she traveled to Arizona. We all both made the commitment to travel. We both made the commitment to get a hotel. We both made the commitment to be in that room. I don't even want to say the same level, but we're both have skin in the game and we're both risking, we're both investing. So when you get on a call with somebody, things are going to happen.
You made me think of something when you said that. It's like, I don't know if your clients ever tell you, I have discovery calls and people are not committed. They're like, oh, I don't know. They're new in business. They don't know. They need to think about it. They need to ask your husband, whatever it is, right? And one of the things that I always like, the people that I meet at events, even if they're collaborators or clients or whatever, they just paid an investment to me. Nobody's asking their fucking husband if they can invest in your coaching package. Like, they are the young woman, whatever decision-making power they need to actually invest, collaborate, travel, speak, whatever it is. So let's bring it home. What are we teaching them in part 2 in your podcast, She's Made for More, that comes out tomorrow?
Yeah. So you're going to want to head over to that episode, because that episode we're going to be talking about the actual ROI of how we are making money at these events. Because we both
and how we are leveraging going to events, hosting events, and we're gonna go into the technical. Today was kind of like the soul, right? Like, girl, you need to get in the room, you need to be in these events.
Yeah.
It's your fucking wake-up call of like, if you have not gotten your ass into an event yet, our events, hint, hint, you need to invest on yourself, invest in getting in the right fucking rooms. And if you love us, I'm going to tell you, Be Real Live and She's Made for More Live are your rooms. So, tomorrow we are going to put out part 2 of this episode. Now we're talking numbers. We're going to give
actual numbers, because that's the other thing that people always talk about. Okay, you're attending this event, but how is it turning into money? Well, let's talk about it.
I'm literally making a list of every time I went to an event and it turned into money. Okay. And you're doing the same. And then we're also going to open the curtain in how much money we made at our events. Because I think there is something that people are not talking enough about. You spreading the love, which is truly expanding other women, but then events are amazing.
Yeah.
Right? If you're curious about the numbers,
if you want
tomorrow,
numbers, if you want to know how we're making money selling out our events and actually like the amount we're making at our events, you are going to want to check out that episode.
Then put in your calendar, July 14th, 10 a.m. We'll see you on Instagram too. Love you. And tomorrow in your podcast.
Yes, ma'am.
Bye, bitches.